Welcome, everybody. Thank you for stopping by for another episode of Inspiration Points. Today we have an amazing guest, Dennis, aka OKSDM, who is the creator of an amazing game called Sagas, which stands for Setting and Genre Agnostic System, right? No. Yeah. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. And runs games like in a bunch of different places on like Roll D5 and I've seen you elsewhere too. Yeah.
Couple times, yeah. I do a lot of stuff on a lot of different channels, just very rarely my own.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Please. If you haven't yet, go follow Dennis, aka OKSDM. They do some amazing stuff. Where can we find you?
On all the stuff at okayest__DM. I'm probably most active myself on Threads.
Okay, cool. I really like Threads. I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
the algorithm is very specific. You can curate it.
Yeah, I haven't had any luck on the other text platforms like Twitter or Blue Sky or Mastodon. Just like
Me neither.
But Threads latched on, and that was fun stuff. Okay, so yeah, today we're gonna be hanging out with Dennis here. If you have any questions, please slap him into chat. You can do if you do !question, it'll send it to a special document for me, and I'll be able to read it. Or you can just put like question in all caps, and then the question after it, and I'll be able to see it in chat easily, and we'll answer them later on. But first, let's get started. A good friend of ours, Janelle, aka Boss Jellybean, is coming out with a Kickstarter soon for a game she created called Safe Mode Disabled. Let me see.
I've been looking forward to this for a while. Like, I knew it existed, and it is exactly what I like. If someone else didn't design something like this, I was going to. And Janelle, I feel like, is just the perfect person to put this together.
Mm-hmm.
As I understand, it is an isekai video game using Powered by the Apocalypse engine, which surprisingly I've never played. This might be my first exposure to PBTA.
Yeah, have I done any Powered by the Apocalypse game? I don't think I.
Monster of the Week, Monster
I haven't.
Hearts.
Not that I haven't played. There. I've done a lot of D20. I've done a lot of I've done a few the 2 D20, the Modifius games. I've done.
Yep. Done a few.
Yours is the D10 roll below. We have. Yeah, I don't think I've played a Powered by the 2D6. I've done I've done Candela Obscura, which is influenced heavily by Powered by the Apocalypse, but it's not the same. But yeah, I'm looking at I got the PDF pulled up on the screen too, like on the side for people to see. This is really cool. The art is just amazing.
Look at that. It's gorgeous.
Like, it's so cool. Are these? I feel like I know some of these people.
Oh yeah. Let me see.
Like, for real, which one of these? I feel like I know this person.
Like, for sure. For sure, this is some Amber Ascension art.
Yeah.
Almost.
But I think
heavily inspired by real individuals. It's a good time.
What's really cool, where did I see the core mechanics? Here we go. So you have moves for your in real life person. You have moves for your like avatar in the video game, and then you also have like cross-dimensional moves, like, which sounds really cool.
That's So I'm actually, Janelle reached out to me and asked me to write a setting for this, and I've been excited brainstorming, talking with the other collaborators about like what we're creating, because a couple of different people, as I understand it, are getting a 2-page spread, and each of them, their job is to make the real world and the fantasy video game world at the same time. And the one that I'm doing is a cross between like solo leveling, Darwin's game. It's going to be an alternate reality. So the video game is overlaid onto real buildings in this city. And but the city itself is super boring and dull, and then the video game that overlays itself onto it is like colorful and fun, and there's games everywhere. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to put that setting together. It's going to be difficult to keep it to 2 pages, I think.
That sounds really cool. I'm just like, oh my god, and what if you played it in a location and you used that location as the location that you were playing the game in?
Safe mode disabled by LA.
Yeah, like, oh my god, that would be so cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a more look at this, because I mean the art is amazing. I love like simple mechanics that can lead to like complex like stories and conflict resolution. So
exactly,
there's been a lot of
very much on the same page there.
Isekai like I feel like I'm seeing it more in the past like couple of years of people wanting to do like this kind of style of game of either, you know, playing the person that's going into the other realm, or having the 2 characters, one in each realm.
Yeah, I like when I was starting to do this, like do the writing, I was trying to figure out what exactly makes isekai such a popular genre, especially lately. And I think it's the viewer is learning about the world along with the character. Like you get plopped into this random space, you have no idea what's going on, and that you have to do the learning, as if you were watching a show where that happens too.
And I think like you said, like a show, and I feel like some of our favorite shows as like a society, like in the zeitgeist, are shows that we're learning about this world and why it's slightly different than our own, and like that's exciting for us, like with Lost or Westworld, or any other examples escape me right now, but you understand what I'm saying.
I know it's very much a staple for as long as fantasy and sci-fi have existed as a genre, and I think it's why they're lumped together, is that it's set in a world where the rules are different. Like it's not, you know, real life, there's gravity and, you know, all the stuff we already know. There's magic, there's this new thing that we have to learn about to figure out how the mechanics of these rules, whether it's in a story or a game, affect the story that we're either experiencing or helping create.
And like the best stories and storytellers, like as you learn more, you have more questions, and that really leads to to tabletop gaming, because you want to, like, even though the quest or the adventure or the session is over, you want to have that sense of what's next, and also the drive of wanting to find the answer to that question. You know, that's the cliffhanger working really well, and being like, ah, no, can we play longer?
Yes. That is honestly the best compliment a player can give a game master, is asking if we can keep playing.
Yes. No, just like, oh my god, there's been a couple of times where I've been like, and you know, we'll start next time with the combat, and they're like, no, can we just do the combat really quick, or no, just one more? And I'm like,
that doesn't exist. I don't know what system you were playing, but that combat really quick doesn't exist in tabletop.
Well, we had like 45 minutes to an hour. Hey, Arclight, thank you so much for following on Twitch. Let's go. Appreciate you.
They are.
Yes. And we had like a time limit, so I knew, they knew, so like we were, and I knew it was gonna be an easy medium combat. I knew it was gonna be like hard. we were able to massage it into the time limit. However, yes, combat does take a while, especially as you get to higher levels, but not even necessarily higher levels, but just more complicated situations. Because I like to
more
have
complicated, more health. Your character can do more things, so people tend to take a little bit longer to make sure that they're making the best decision on their turn. And there's some systems that subvert that in different ways. Like there's a lot of stuff that I do when I run Dungeons and Dragons, for example, where I offload mental stuff. Like whoever, usually the dungeon master is the one under the most mental load, the highest cognitive capacity, and I have other players keep track of how much damage monsters have taken. Someone keeps track of turn order, and we just things that they can keep track of, I will hand off to them so that I can focus on the fun stuff.
Yeah, totally. There's no one says you can't. I think it even says in the book to have your players help you with that stuff. Like that's totally like something I highly recommend for dungeon masters to do, or at least try it and see if it works for them, because it might not work for everybody, and that's okay too. But I try to have different. Like I like to try different methods of running games so that I can run a game at any time. Like, oh man, I forgot this and this thing, so I have no minis and map today. It's all theater of the mind. Can I still do a great game like that? I forgot to make written notes, but I got the book today. Can I still run a good game like that? Or can I still, like, all these various different ways of running a game, because there's not a one correct way. I mean, there's there's a couple wrong ways by like
there are a few wrong ways to run games, yes. But there are like countless correct ways to do it. And number one, you'll hear a lot of people that have run a lot of games say it: as long as everyone's having fun, everyone, that includes Dungeon Master and all the players, you're doing something right.
Exactly. That's well said. Really well said. Sometimes I see, on Reddit or social media, and the dungeon masters are complaining about not filling up for the game. They're like, feel the burnout coming on and stuff like that. And yeah, I really want to stress to people that you gotta make it fun for yourself and the players. Because what I try to do is when I'm planning a session, I look at my players and I look at their characters, and I think, what do I think would be fun for them based on what they've told me already so far, and like stars and wishes and stuff like that, and like where their character arcs and stuff like that, and how can I deliver that in a way that's fun for me?
Right. And it's not super intuitive, especially starting out. Like, I know I made many mistakes over the years I've been running games, like many mistakes, and I just do my best to try and learn from them and help make sure that everyone's having a good time in future games I run. And
like, I think I mess up something every session that I run. Like, there's something, a rule I get wrong.
Yes, that's great.
Like every
I'm a strong one of my big arguments is or one of the practices I do is, whenever I run a game, any game, doesn't really matter what, I try something new. I try an experiment to see whether it works or not. And if it does, I'll keep that in mind. And if it doesn't, I won't do it again.
Yeah.
Unless the situation is drastically changed for another game, then I'll give it another shot and see if it was just a one-off that it didn't work. Yeah. Doing actual experiments to try and figure out what works best for you, because there's no blanket correct way to run games.
And especially like building a toolbox of skills and like tools and situations to throw out, because like, so you can be more flexible in when you're playing. Like you said, trying something out and maybe it doesn't work for you, but you're like, oh, maybe in the future I might be able to use that. You know.
Mm-hmm. I have a whole series of, not a whole series, but I did YouTube a lot, like a couple years ago, and a couple of the videos I made were literally like, all I can do is tell you anecdotes of how it went at my table. I'm not going to tell you how to run yours. I'm just going to tell you what happened at mine and what I took away from it for future games.
Yeah.
And I think that's been helpful for a lot of people.
Like my DM tips, what I do is after a session I'll write down 5 things I learned, or like 5 things that like, oh, here's
5. That's crazy. I could maybe
10?
do
2. You know, I really sit down and think and like,
that's
awesome. What happened? How can I put it into a tip for somebody? You know, how can I this little technique that I did to redirect or what have you, like how can I like let people know that? And that's where like the bulk of my tips come from. And also just like trying to start the conversation, because I don't necessarily have all the answers, and the answers are different for everybody. But I think by asking questions, you know, I have the daily question that I do on threads. Like that's what I'm trying to do, is like to see all the different answers that are out there, so that somebody new or somebody that's having trouble can stumble upon it and see that there are all these different ways to do this.
Exactly.
Speaking of different ways to do this, sagas. Like I said earlier, it stands for
very different
setting and genre agnostic system.
Yes, it's okay. I made the thing and I still screw that up sometimes.
It's a good name. It's good.
Thank you. It was very clear when I was brainstorming with the alpha testers of what this was going to be called. It was like maybe we do an acronym, and we started throwing a couple out, and when that one hit the chat, we're like, it's clear. This is clearly the correct name for this system.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the PDF up on the screen too. It's like it's good stuff, man. So what inspired sagas?
There are several sources of inspiration for sagas. I wanted to take from a lot of games that maybe I hadn't actually played, but I had like watched actual plays of, or heard podcasts of, or heard, you know, anecdotes from friends about what really, really works well and things that I think were cool. And I took all of those and put them into a game. But the original inspiration for creating sagas was January, February 2022 with the OGL debacle in Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to play D&D anymore. This just makes me feel bad every time I think about it. So I'm going to make my own system. And I was like, or learn a new system. And I started looking around and like, I kind of want to do everything. Well, what if I just made one that can do everything? It wasn't until a few months later that I learned that there are several systems that can just do anything. There's GURPS, there's Fate, there's tons and tons of systems that just do any setting, and they do them well. But I'd made my own, and it's been going quite well.
Yeah, I've been really enjoying playing it. Because it's so simple. It's elegant in its simplicity. The D10 roll under, the abilities that increase or decrease a die size, I think it works really well. I like that the abilities are so comprehensive, and like I'm a stats guy, so having it in like a scale of 10 is like perfect for me, like, you know, for numbers and math and figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
Why the D10?
So when I was trying to figure out what the main mechanic of sagas would be, it wasn't called sagas at this point, and there was only me working on it. But I kept trying to think of what, like, if you're not math people, you might want to, it'll get boring for a sec, but I'll keep it brief. Trying to figure out what variables there are in making a check. D&D adds a modifier, so you like add something to a roll. Other systems I've heard actually subtract things from roll. Well, actually D&D subtracts things from roll sometimes. But it's always a D20 that you roll. Then there's things like Call of Cthulhu, a D100 system, where you have a stat and you're trying to roll under it. The higher the stat is, the better it is, but you have to roll under it to get a success. And there's a lot of different variables. Like we always use this die size. We always use this die size and add something to it to get over something, or to roll and try to get under something. And the other variables are like difficulty of a check, how that gets determined, and what you add to it. And I hadn't really seen any that use on base checks changing the size of a die. A lot of like, I think originally I got the inspiration from D&D damage, like different spells and different attacks and different weapons all use different dice for damage. I'm like, why don't regular checks do that? And so I threw a new variable into it where you change the die size, D6, 8, 10, or 12, and with a 10 being the base. Like, you can get worse, but you can also get a lot better.
Yeah.
And it seems to have worked really well, and it continued to do so throughout development. So we just kept it.
It's like so elegant. It's so easy. And Janelle, aka Boss Jellybean, who's in the chat, is doing a great job running Amber Ascension for us. Like, oh my lord, it is so fun. We're at the end of season 2 recording. We are going to be, it airs next week, right? I think it starts airing next week or soon. It's something like that. But I'm so excited.
Are you serious?
I think.
Crazy.
Let's see. And so I like because like my character specifically has a couple dice math. Yo, I love dice math. Don't get me talking about dice math. I got a bunch of the stuff like memorized. And so people are like, how do you know that? I'm like, it's easy.
Like, what's the average damage roll for a fireball?
Yeah, that would be, is it 8d6? So that would be 28.
Is 8d6? See, it's quick. I think it's actually, isn't it a little bit less than that?
It depends.
3.5 times 8.
Well, I mean, I just do 2d6 times 4. 2d6 is 7.
That's much easier. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
we're
learning dice math today.
Yeah, it's great. You know, so I mean, for me, it's easier to like make it in terms of 2 dice, because then the average of 2 dice is always a round number. So like that helps me do the math a lot. You know, so like 3d10 in my head, I'm like, okay, 2d10 is 11, and then half a d10 is 5 or 6, so it's 16 or 17, you know. There we go.
Yep.
D8s are my favorite. Yeah, I mean, it's a good one. 2d8 is a really nice 9 average. It's good stuff.
Less than a week till Amber Ascension Season 2. No, a little over a week.
September 8th, Season 2 premieres. You heard it here first, folks. Pew, pew, pew. Breaking news. Let's go. Yeah. Season 2 premiering September 8th. You also got dad botted, so great. I love it. Let's see. We were talking about dice. Because like before, Sagas is a D10, whereas Safe Mode Disabled, because it's powered by the Apocalypse, is a 2d6, which has a curve rather than a straight line for probability, which is also like, what did you want equal probability when choosing the single D10?
I think the reason that I ended up making it the way it was is because I was worried about crits. So we wanted it to be, we wanted to figure out how to make it so that even with the changing die size, if you get better, you're more likely to crit. If you keep rolling higher dice, you're going to be less and less likely to roll the maximum on that die. So if by lowering dice and making it a roll low system, the chance of a crit increases all the way to 1 out of 6 on a d6.
Yeah, which is like pretty
which
good
is
odds.
quite often.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Dice. I could talk about dice and math for quite some time.
Mhm.
So what kind of stories are you seeing being told with this system?
Fortunately, I cannot narrow that down at all. Like, we designed it to be able to do anything, and people are doing almost everything with it.
Okay.
Like, there are people who have been hard pressed to try to find something that Sagas can't do, and every single game is so vastly different from the last. Unless like you're using the same one-page supplement. Like I've run multiple Pokemon in the post-apocalypse, for example. I've run a couple multiversal jumping ones, and those ones get really crazy, really fast. Where you literally switch universes every round of combat. It's wild.
Wow. Wait, hold on. Wait. So is everyone like slipping through a portal every time, every round, or is like
it depends.
However
like,
you want to.
So if you want to see the first one we did, go to Roll D5's channel and search for their most viewed VOD. Okay. And I think it's still at the top with like a little under 2,000 views. Okay. They just kind of put it there for like archiving purposes and weren't trying to get views with it. But that's what happened with our first multiversal hopping one. We, I think, hit 10 different universes. Each character was from a different universe. A couple were just from a normal universe. One was a normal businessman. Another person played a literal bear. One person played a robot from a humans versus AI global war. And then they all ran around. Oh, and one was how could I forget? One was an old man investigator from a Cthulhu universe.
Oh, obviously.
And so, like, we did a heist in a dojo. We did a library in a solar punk library in the middle of a city. We did, at one point, the request was hospital drama. And when they started combat from there, it was mental combat and trying to heal the aberration that was switching universes every round of combat. And then right after the hospital drama, which was just weird and calm, we switched immediately into slasher steampunk horror. And it was just like whiplash. It was crazy. It was a wild ride, difficult to run and hang on, but it was a lot of fun.
I feel like you just described several episodes of Legion.
I haven't actually finished editing Blankets and Ballads yet. It's been on my to-do list for way too long, and I've been procrastinating. I'm sorry. You'll definitely see it when we finally get it out.
What's Blankets and Ballads?
So 2, 3, maybe 4 months ago now, Janelle and I had Janelle and a bunch of other people play in a recorded Sagas one-shot. And it was a liminal space where this kid built a blanket fort and asked the party members who all knew him from something or another, like a teacher, babysitter, older sister, all the people knew the kid. And he said, you have to go find my tiger that's lost somewhere in the blanket fort. But it's an infinite blanket fort. And they just keep going further and further in and further down to find this tiger. And it gets weird the further in they go. And it was just a lot of fun to run that one shot.
That sounds awesome and wild and
kicking
crazy.
myself for not editing it.
Wow.
So to answer your original question, no, there's not a theme with what people have been doing with Sagas. I guess the only theme is people are finally branching out of high fantasy, which is the staple for tabletop role-playing games.
I feel like we have these cycles of like themes or genres with like we cycle through like high fantasy and like steampunk and cyberpunk and
that's the favorite this month.
Yeah. as like
Or
a
this year,
society,
more like, it's a
you
slow
know,
cycle.
for 4 months or the 6 months when a new Lord of the Rings blah 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 comes out, everybody's like on that shit, you know, and then when a new Cyberpunk Matrix or whatever the heck Cyberpunk video game comes out or whatever it is, movie.
Like I feel like right now it might be Alien because of the Alien Earth show, which by the way, pretty good. I've enjoyed it so far.
All right. Yeah, I see talk about Alien often enough online. There's just so many good IPs and like games based on those. It's like, of course we want to play games in these settings that we love. Power Rangers? Yeah, exactly. There's like, aren't there multiple Power Rangers games now? Or is there just the one?
We'll know. We'll absolutely know.
Or like, I feel like maybe there was an older one and then they just like somebody else made a new one. Maybe, I don't know. Like they made lots of games over the years. Let's see. Okay, so what's next for Sagas?
So as part of the Kickstarter, one of the things that was promised were what we're calling sagazines, where they are going to be adventures or settings in like 10 to 15 pages. And we while we wait for the actual, because the version of Sagas that's out right now isn't the finished version.
Yeah,
like there are a couple of edits that we've made, and the layout, like we raised a good chunk of money to put art in the book. The version that we made right now is the cheap version with black and white and sketches made from a Google Doc. We are going soon, when our layout designer's other projects wrap up, we are finally going to get to see the real finalized form of Sagas with beautiful, beautiful art, colorized with its awesome theming, fully laid out. I've seen a couple of pieces of it, like previews, and it's just so cool, and it's been very rewarding to see something I put so much time into get that much love and look that cool as a final product. We just don't see it yet. So while we're waiting on that, we are working on the first of those supplements. And the first one is called Grim, and it is a setting. It is, like I said, going to be about 10 to 15 pages, and it is a micro setting where all the characters are like bugs or small rodents. And it is Victorian steampunk, and the entire thing is set in a single old bookshop, and it's the yard out back.
That's awesome.
It's also pretty dark.
That sounds so cool.
It's like that cute, like we're mice, but we're killing each other kind of dark. There is a gang war out back between bees and wasps.
Naturally.
There is a class disparity between the bugs that live at the top of the wall and the ones that work in the factory below the cellar floorboards. There's just so much cool stuff to play with in that world.
Sounds super cool.
I've been recording with Tabletop Tailspinners a mini series set in that campaign that's been going. It's been really, really fun.
I just got this game. I kickstarted it a couple years ago, and I finally got it in the mail. Beetle Knight, where you play little bugs.
Yeah, there's a couple like that, and I got inspiration from like Mouse Ritter. I saw, I think it was Girls Run These Worlds was playing a Mouse Ritter game, and I'm like, wait, this is awesome.
Yeah. Mouse Ritter. What's that other? There's a couple other ones. Do I have it?
For sure.
Not Root. What's the other one?
Although Root is one of them, right?
Yeah. I have Root, not Humblewood. Does it have wood in the name? What's it called? I really want to remember. It kickstarted a couple years ago and it did really well. Oh well. I'll
It's
it'll
okay.
come to me and I'll message you in the middle of the night on Discord and be like, it's this.
Brilliant.
Oh man, can I not? Daggerwood, Humblewood. Oh well, it'll come to me, like I said. Okay, so moving on. If you could give one tip to a new game master, what would it be?
Don't know what system they're using, just know that they are running a ttrpg.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like the obvious one we've already talked about. Make sure everyone at the table is having fun, yourself included.
Yeah.
So that's like first and foremost. But once we got that out of the way, I think for a game master, I think we also briefly talked about earlier, is the job of running a game requires a lot of work and mental load. So if there is anything, any mechanic, any like sort of tracking that you have to do that you can offload onto the players, like without spoilers or anything and stuff like that, do it. Your players, especially if they're having a good time, will be happy to lighten the load for you, because when your load is lighter, they all have more fun too.
Yeah, exactly. It being able to spread the like foundation of the game amongst all the players can be really helpful to a game master, especially a new game master that is intimidated and at keeping all of that information and numbers and stuff in their head. Like, the game is meant to be fun. It should be fun for everyone, like
Yep.
it's okay
100%.
to have players help you, for sure.
And also, just generally, it's okay to ask for help. It's
okay
definitely something that I struggle with. So it also applies to our wonderful, beautiful little niche on the internet.
Yeah, and I try to err on the side of asking the players, like, hey, what adventure do you want to go on? Like, what do you want to do, so I can prepare it with you and your characters in mind. Like, I don't mind making a quest board with a couple of options like that, but at the end of the session, at the end of the day, I want to know, like, what is it that y'all want to do, so I can.
What are you looking forward to? What do you hope to see?
Yeah, the stars and wishes is really important to me. I've been trying to pay attention to that more recently. And so there's like two things. So I do like the stars and wishes at the end, but at the beginning I do a warm-up question in character.
Yes,
sometimes I do it out of game, like above table. Sometimes I do it in game, like maybe I'll have the NPC ask them the question, or I'll or you guys are walking to the dungeon and this is what you're talking about, and then have them, for a one shot, I've had them like introduce themselves and give the answer and have them have a conversation, and then that takes like 5 minutes. We're doing intros, people are doing things, and then I can, like, here's the entrance, and there's actually 2 because you got a good perception, and give them choices. I feel, and then so like I write down those answers from the question of the day, and I write down the answers from the stars and wishes, and when I go to prep a session, like I look at that stuff. I look at the answers of the past few sessions, so I can like incorporate those things, because that's the easiest way, I guess. I can figure out how.
I've been, especially after starting to run games online, like actual plays, either streamed or recorded, I've started to... game prep was one of the things I, one, didn't think I was that good at, 2, didn't think was that helpful. And so I did an experiment a few years ago where I, in a Discord server, they were having a game day where they were running like 30 games of D&D. With many dungeon masters, you know, sign up for whatever you want. And I ran 3 games in one day.
Ooh.
Just to see, 1, what my limit was, 2, to do a bunch of different experiments. And I learned a ton that day. Learned my limit is 2 games in one day. That 3rd game was rough.
Yeah, totally.
But another thing I learned, and the main reason I did it, is I wanted to see if I could run a game without doing any prep whatsoever. Seeing if my improv chops were, you know, quality and good enough to still make sure that we follow that number 1 rule of everyone at the table is having fun. And after that, I haven't really done any session prep. Like, my prep time to actual play time ratio at this point is like 1 to 5. Like, I do so much more play, and I don't do like writing out beforehand. I do sometimes still, but I feel like I've found my style. And so advice to intermediate game masters, try to figure out what your style is and work on making that better. Yeah,
that's kind of like what I was saying before. Try different things so you can figure out what works for you and what works for you in different situations. Yeah,
Janelle has an amazing point as well. Actually, rewatching yourself run games. For me, the first couple times I did, it was very difficult. You know, just you hear your own voice and kind of get, because it doesn't sound the same when it's outside your head versus when you're actually saying it. And also watching yourself and critiquing yourself, like as you do something, is difficult. Like, you have to be able to, 1, admit, I did that bad and could do it better. And so I do that sometimes. I've done a couple live on stream, actually, just as a challenge to myself, and, you know, worked out. And sometimes when you watch it, you're like, wait, that actually went really well. I should do that more often.
That's why I try to think of like 5 tips or like 5 things I learned, you know, for my sessions to like help with that, like to actually have a reflection of what went well, what didn't, and stuff like that. Boss Jellybean says, you got a full binder, a whole Google Drive with 100 docs? I use a Note. Yeah, and so like for me, it really depends. I use Notion, and it really depends on the session. It really depends, because sometimes I'll do a little bit more longer session prep, but that'll last me for 3 or 4 sessions because it's like a dungeon, or it's like I prepped the whole adventure kind of already. Or sometimes, and then so like maybe the first week I do more prep, but then weeks 2, 3, and 4 I don't have to do any, or it's like I'm just reviewing all the notes I have. But a lot of my prep is, I boil it down to, it's all bullet points. It's all just like
half sentences.
Like, it's like, it's long, but it's long because it's all bullet points. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a lot of white blank space on the page.
Yeah. Like, let me see, where are we? I don't think any of my here I didn't even, well, let me find one that has some good notes. Yeah, here we go. Can I put this over? No, never mind. Can't see it. Sorry guys.
Sometimes
next time.
Works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. But like the longest section of my notes is the treasure section, because I make a D20 like treasure lists, or when people want to like loot the body or like search something I didn't plan for, I can pick something out of this list based on like the D20 roll they make, and then like weave it into the story somehow. It's like most of my prep is to help me improvise on the spot.
And sometimes all you need is like 3 words, which makes sense why you just have a bunch of bullet points.
Yeah, and it only needs to make sense for me at the table like remind me of like whatever I had thought of. It doesn't, like, no one else is reading it. My notes don't have to look like a professional like adventure. They don't have to be full sentences. Man, sometimes I don't even use full stat blocks. You know, Sly Flourish, Lazy DM, he's got a chart of stats, monster stat blocks, 1 line monster stat blocks. So it's like, it's literally just 1 line, how many attacks, how much damage they do, the like attack bonus and stuff like that. And because all of its flavor, man, most of the stat blocks, you could take any stat block and reflavor it as anything else, you know, like that's, all the books are just suggestions, you know?
Yes. Oh, say that again. All the books are just suggestions.
Hey, you heard it here first from Dunder Mifflin. All the books are just suggestions. Paper is just a fad. You don't have to listen to it at all.
The internet, however, always right.
The internet is always correct. But yeah, like I don't even really use a DM screen anymore either. I just have a bunch of that same information printed out on a paper, and so I can just
nice.
use that instead. I don't like the separation of the DM screen. I like the information on it. I don't like the separation. I want to see all the people, and I want to see all the table and everything.
Yeah. And sometimes, depending on the screen, if you're not using the right table or the chair's the wrong height, one problem that we kept running into is the screen that we use here is a little bit taller than regular, so it keeps getting like bumped and knocked over. And, and if you want to break immersion, breaking something on the table is the best way to do it, or like spilling a drink. Spilling
your the best way to get a dragon attack is to spill your glass of wine on my book. Has that actually happened before? I don't know, man. You'll have to ask me when the camera's off. Okay, so we did the tip for new GMs. A tip for new players. What's one tip you would tell new players?
I always use the same one, and I don't think it's said often enough. But first, I'd like to say that question isn't asked often enough. Like, tips for players, there are very few, I think, players who will go out of their way to like watch videos and learn more and try to get better as a player. At least outside of the AP space.
Yeah.
It's mostly the ones that are pouring a ton of time and effort into it, which is the game masters.
Yeah.
But my number one tip for players, if you want to get better and you want to make the game you're in better, is to get invested in the other characters at the table. Like, be interested in someone else's character and ask questions about them, and then have your character ask their character questions so they can talk about their backstory. Because when you get excited about their character, obviously they're going to get excited about it too. And so is the game master. And if everyone is doing that to everyone else's character, that's how you get stuff like Critical Role. Like, there's just this beautifully told story because these people are, you know, they know that they're only a piece of the story. None of them have like main character syndrome, unless like the dungeon master said, okay, this is your side quest specifically, we're going over your backstory now. Very little else matters. That's the only exception.
Yeah.
But being interested in other people's characters is probably the best way to improve your game.
Yeah, for sure, because it's like, I think there's two things I feel we could discuss a little bit better, is like role playing and immersion, because I think we could think of them differently and get better results that we're looking for. Because when people think role play, their accents and voices and mannerisms and dressing up and pressure and oh, am I the only one that's gonna do a voice and my friends are gonna laugh at me, and like To me, all of those things aren't role playing. To me, role playing is making decisions. So my goal as a game master is to get the player to make decisions as their character. I don't care how they tell me the decisions. They can do it with a funny voice. They could do it with I statements. They could do it with third person statements. Like, I really don't care. What I want them to do is to picture them or the character in the world and making decisions and seeing how that is affecting everything and them. I think that's a better goal for role play, and I think that can help lead to immersion, because I don't necessarily think of immersion as like a perfect map and music and like a candle and all these other like little things that like set the mood. I think of immersion as, like we talked about earlier, when we were like, oh, can we just play 30 more minutes? Like, that's immersion. When we're all stuck and we don't want to go and
nothing else exists except the story you're telling.
And we got into flow state for a couple of hours. That's immersion and role play for me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can only say I've been in that state a few times, and I'm just scrambling to get back to it. But you're right. Like, there's a very big difference between making decisions in character and acting as your character. Yeah. They go very well together. They're very closely related, but they are different things, different skills.
Yeah. And I'll totally take all of us acting and being voices. I'll totally take that critical role, high level stuff. I'm totally down for it. But I think at the beginning, or many people, if you want to get better at role play and better at immersion, I think it's like focusing on getting people to make decisions as their character and like fostering that flow state.
Exactly. Like, I've had players at my table before who just fully were not comfortable speaking as their character. And when we would do conversations, it would be like, I asked the guard which direction the building we're looking for is, instead of being, hello, Mr. Guard, which direction is the library? You know, those are two different things. They're doing the same thing, but they both are a decision that your character is doing that.
Yeah.
Both work.
Yeah, exactly. I instead of them just going, I don't know, and then I'm like, okay, well, the guard comes up to you and is like, hey, what are you doing here? Like, I don't want that to happen. I want the characters to be the driver of the story. That's what. Yeah, I want to get from me driving the direction to the players and characters driving the story.
Fully agree.
Because even in the situation you give, even though one player is using a voice and acting and another one isn't, they're both driving it forward.
Exactly. Like, you can ask in character using the voice. One way I would suggest, if someone doesn't feel comfortable acting in character, don't act at them either. So, like, if someone says, I'm going to my character goes up and asks where the library is, I'm not going to answer as the guard. I'm going to say the guard directs you northward 3 blocks down the street.
Totally. I might even like embellish the the guard saying that a little bit more, give a more like description. But yeah, like you don't like matching the energy is good.
Very, very important. Especially, it makes players, I think, feel more comfortable at your table.
Yeah. Let's see. Man, that was good. Okay. What's happening? I got ads starting in 30 seconds. Are you cool? Let's take a 5-minute break and we'll come back to more questions.
Yeah, sure. I'm down.
Awesome.
See you all in a bit.
All right, see you all in a few minutes, folks. We'll be back in like 5. BRB. Stuff. And 3, 2, 1, we are back. Let's go. We are back, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking around and hanging out with us today. Stay hydrated, y'all. Okay. You ready for the next? This is gonna be fun. D20 questions. You got 3 minutes to answer as many questions as you can.
Ooh. All right.
Does that makes sense? I found my sand timer. It's a 3-minute timer. I like using these to mess with players. I usually don't actually like use the countdown for anything, but I'll just be like, all right, you guys are taking a while. Boom. Sand timers are the best.
Oh, whoa! 11 minutes.
Whoa!
And I don't play very many in-person games anymore, but I would, like, if ever there was, like, any sort of urgency whatsoever, I would just put this on the table and flip it, and then just not look at it. Like, I don't actually care when the sand runs out. It just makes the players super nervous, and it's so much fun.
Love it. It's good time. Good times. I got giant foam dice that I'll use for rolling on the table.
Ooh, important rolls.
Yeah.
Got your little version of Box of Doom.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. Okay. I'm gonna turn it over when I finish the first question. Okay? You ready?
Okay.
All right.
Find out.
How did you first get started playing TTRPGs?
That's such a long one. I can't do that in 3 minutes. All right. Very first is my dad took me to a game store. I played one game in the middle of an Adventurers League campaign and then didn't play again for at least 5 years.
Ooh. First set of dice.
Oh, man. It was probably something I got at that game store. I have no idea what happened to it.
Awesome. Favorite book, movie, video game to use as TTRPG?
To use, like, as inspiration?
Yes.
Okay. Favorite to use as inspiration. I've been doing a lot of anime stuff recently, so honestly, any anime
cool
that I've seen.
Advice for younger you.
For younger me, everything's gonna be fine.
Favorite PC you've made?
PC I've made. Oh, I don't do many of those. Ooh, I made a not a goblin, a gnome wizard whose spell book was gold rings with etchings in them locked to his biceps and forearms.
That's cool. That's cool. Favorite NPC?
Oh, and he married a dragon. NPC. Oh, definitely the big bad of my longest running home campaign, who was a some form of eldritch dragon, who pretended to be, you know, someone else.
Nice. Current favorite TTRPG mechanic?
The death mechanics in sagas.
Ooh. Why do you like playing TTRPGs?
It's an escape from the real world, and it's way more fun than I tend to have doing any other form of entertainment.
What's the best way to start a session or a campaign?
All the characters are immediately in danger.
How to start playing?
How to start playing? Well, I haven't used it, but I've heard start playing is pretty good.
Good one. How do you get inspired for your encounters?
For my encounters, normally player character backstories.
Ooh. How do you deal with opposing gameplay styles?
Oh, that is a tough one. Normally I try to have them at separate tables. But when they exist, I always put a little bit of everything that the players really enjoy.
How do you deal with maps?
Usually I don't. Theater of the mind.
And we're done! Hey, that was perfect. Or not perfect, but that was 13 questions. And you answered the last one right as it ended. Is what I meant with perfect.
The first question you asked is like a 30-minute long story.
I know, it's great. That was fun. I like it because it gets you.
I thought it was gonna be like favorite class in D&D. That was crazy.
Yeah, I like it because it like trips people up. It gets them to like condense it into a short story. How do I say this in one sentence?
Yeah.
But then it also gets you now to think of all the answers in one sentence.
It was challenging, very unexpected.
Yeah, it was good. Good answers too.
Thank you.
Inspiration for encounters using backstories. Starting a session with the characters being in danger is great. Just like, and I think you can extrapolate that to having a question that needs to be answered right away. Like, you're in danger, what do you do? What direction do you want to take? Like, having an immediate question that like needs to be answered is a good way to start. Tell me about this big bad of your campaign, you said.
Ooh. So one of the player characters who girlfriend and fiance at the time, now my wife, her shadow sorcerer rogue build had kind of a like classic rogue tragic backstory. Her foster father was the owner of a sort of, he was like a weapons dealer for armies and countries and stuff like that. Like they would go to him for swords and shields and armor, but he didn't make the stuff. He was just a businessman. And when she was a kid, his demeanor changed pretty suddenly between like 2 different days. And she thought it was because of the death of his wife, her foster mother. And we find out later that that's not what happened. Wife got sick and died of that cause, but he was killed and supplanted by an eldritch dragon, who ended up being the big bad of the whole campaign, titled the Void Master. And he was working, if I remember right, it's been a while, but he was working with demons to try to sell the souls of one of the largest cities in the world, of like everyone in the city.
Whoa.
And while they did eventually kill off the one of my favorite scenes with the Void Master was his reveal. Like they just knew about him. They knew about him way before they actually met him in a scene.
Yeah.
And they were invited to a dinner at, his manor. And at this dinner, he threatened one of their NPC companions very surreptitiously. He was going behind the Void Master's back and experimenting on manticores, trying to give them draconic blood.
Whoa.
And the manticores escaped. And as a threat, when they invited to dinner, he had caught one of the manticores, had it cooked, and presented as the main course at this dinner that they were all at.
Whoa.
So like big, huge kind of, I will absolutely kill you, and I'm making this threat in the most opulent and impressive way I possibly can.
Yeah.
Dinner didn't go well. They ended up having combat. And he was forced to de-transform from a human, and all they saw was like this black smoke that escaped.
That's awesome.
So I think that transformation as he became this creature that they couldn't really see is probably one of the best moments I've curated, because I practiced that description and timed it to a certain piece of music, Stravinsky's Firebird, and it was only like a 30, 60-second description, but it's still one of my highlights of my DMing career.
That's awesome. I love, one of the reasons I like using music is so that I can what do I call it? Sync my cadence or syncopate my cadence, both really depending on what I'm doing with the music, so it can have more impact. But I try to do it on the fly, whereas like you practiced it, which is really good too. But yeah, I like to. This campaign I'm running right now is every time I'm gonna end the session with like a description and a cliffhanger, I cue a specific song. So now the players know. And
Pavlov's dog. You've trained them to recognize this song.
And they're like, "Oh, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?" And they want to do stuff too. And even though they know I'm gonna say that's where we're ending the session, they're still like, "No, but I want to do this. I want to do that." I'm like, "We're gonna get to that next time." And I write it down, amazing. And then also one of the players takes notes too, and she writes it down, so we can like leave off right there, which is really nice. But like, it totally leaves us all like on the edge of our seats, wanting more.
I love cliffhangers. I probably do them too often, to be honest. I've had that feedback before, like, and especially in longer campaigns, if every single session ends on a cliffhanger, it kind of loses its power, as it were.
You gotta use it sparingly. But this is like, we're going into this knowing that this is kind of how the campaign's gonna be. I'm running the Spelljammer campaign, the Light of Xerxes. Like, it's like super pulpy 1980s like TV show. It's like episodic, like everything is escalated all the time. Like all of the NPCs are like super over the top. It's great. We're having so much fun.
I love that. Just leaning super hard into tropes.
Yeah, just leaning into it. And like I'm cutting it up and adding in stuff and changing it, to like mold it to our group that we have. But it's still like a pretty fun like skeleton of an adventure, I'd say, even though it's not like super long or super like deep or anything, but it's still a fun adventure. Okay, now we're gonna get into viewer questions. Okay, so
we've already had a couple of those.
Yeah, we have. I've been copying and pasting them. Let's see. So we have. What is your favorite and your least favorite part of creating a TTRPG?
I think my favorite part is probably when I find something new and cool that works. Like when I get a new idea. It's dangerous to do that sort of thing. I think my favorite part is having that new idea, and then my least favorite part is finding out it's dumb and doesn't work. For example, the original mechanic for Sagas, like in the same day that I figured out what it was, I thought I was going to call it D13, and the main mechanic was going to be roll a D12 and add 1. That's useless and dumb. Like I don't know why I would do that other than to call it D13 to be like weird and cool. Yeah, and that was all it was. But doing that extra math every single check was something that we wanted to avoid in the first place, or I wanted to avoid in the first place. And I'm like, why would you just add 1 to everything? Yeah,
it's good.
So that good. I had to didn't let that take off too far.
Yeah, good that you were able to redirect towards your design goal. Seeing that even though you were like really happy with the idea, you got to be able to kill your darlings so you can make something that is like cohesive and
makes sense together.
And I mean, verisimilitude is not the right word, but just I think cohesiveness.
Word, but
I think cohesiveness is just like Next question. What is a house rule that has become a staple of your games?
I think players keeping track of how much damage the boss has taken. Because it is their job to keep track, and they will constantly ask, like, okay, it is this much damage, and I'll be like, great. And they're constantly like chomping at the bit to know how much damage they have to do still, and just never giving that to them until they actually get that final blow is, I don't know, having them be like more and more excited for it, and having that mystery of how much longer this is going to take, how we don't know how many more resources we can spend in order to finish this fight. So I think that's, having a player keep track of monster damage has been useful. And the way I do it is I have them keep track of the damage instead of the monster health, because giving them the monster health number is like, you know, spoilers.
Yeah.
So but keeping track of damage is something that they would be able to calculate anyway. It doesn't reveal anything new to them.
Yeah. I like to you know, I track the damage, you know, when I do combat, and I always add up damage. Like I don't subtract from that total. It's so much easier for me to add it up.
I do this very weird thing. And most of what I run is sagas, and it's only like onesie twosies points of damage, which is nice. It makes it very easy to track.
Yeah.
But in D&D, I would do this weird thing of like, I count both up and down depending on which math is easier to do, and when those two numbers cross,
No.
Health has been exceeded.
You're good. Okay. You like froze for a second, but we're good now.
I'm back.
Yeah, you're good.
Back.
So sometimes you'll do
somewhat
both
related.
maths. Okay.
The somewhat related is when I have a boss monster, I won't actually say, how do you want to do this, when they cross the threshold. I will let the most cinematic attack end the monster, whether it's below their actual maximum or above past their actual maximum. I want to make that final blow cool and fun. So if they have a really cool wind up, and the monster is close to death, I'll say, okay, you do get it. It doesn't really matter how much damage you do. This is going to kill the thing. But if nothing's really cool, and they're just kind of like doing footsie little, I stand and swing and hit it again. I will, and they exceed the health, I'll say, I'll encourage like combos or other cool stuff, encourage the players to get creative, and then the first time someone does something creative, I'll have that be the final blow. Yeah,
there's totally ways to encourage that too, you know. Some WWE they're just saying their days. They're on their last legs. It looks like they're going down. What do you want to do?
Describe your fatality.
Yeah. You know what? You got advantage. You know, like fucking throw it all out and make them feel cool. And like I like to similar is like I track the damage, but like if the players tracked damage or like tracked initiative, I would never stop them from doing that. I've never told them explicitly that they could, so they've never tried. But like I don't care. Track it. Go for it. Doesn't matter to me.
I always phrase it like, would anyone like to do this so that I don't have to? And, you know, usually my players are pretty willing to help out.
Yeah, I like, but I do like the cinematic. I prefer a cinematic. How do you want to do this? So, like, I will try to, I may have the character who hasn't gotten the kill yet today get it. I may, just describe the last 3 attacks that have happened as all happening at the same time, and they together did it already. You know, like I'm not like, you don't have to decide you did as a group. The story did. We all like it is like that's how it is. You all did attack these things at the same time, because technically, if it's in the same round, it's all at the same time. So I think that's a good excuse to like force the like group narrative of the finishing blow.
It's kind of like I like if there's a barbarian and a fighter that both got hits and one of them got the final blow, I will describe it together and then they will describe their final blow together after I say, how do you want to do this? Like I don't know if you've seen My Hero Academia, but the fight between Stain and the kids where the final blow is two of them, one of them kicking, the other one punching from two different directions, just spin and he's out.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love stuff like that. And you know, it also depends too. I'm not gonna do that every combat. You know, if it's just like a guard in the hallway, like, you know, it's like I'm picking and choosing which tools to use for each combat too.
Right. There's been a few very interesting pieces of, well, one I can think of in, I think it was a Star Wars game. There's like this super difficult fight you have in a hangar going into like the Death Star or something.
Makes sense.
And then you climb up the ladder, you go through all the waves of enemies after trying for so long, and you get up to the top floor and there is like David the door guard just standing there, and he treats it like a boss fight, but he takes 2 hits and he's dead.
that's hilarious.
Like just this dude with a stick that happens to be electrical, and that's it.
I mean, and like the movies do that sometimes, where like the characters will come across one guy, and like they use the cinematics to make it look like there's some badass, and then the main characters like take him down instantly.
It's totally like a Indiana Jones gun to a sword fight scene. Very fun.
House rule that's a staple of my games. For D&D, I give out inspiration on a nat 1 or a nat 20. So,
nice.
The players track it themselves because we all know when it happens, and they use it all the time because they know they're going to get it all the time because they have a 10% chance to get it. Like, it's going to happen.
Yep.
You know, so it's and them using it is not a big deal because I have so many other ways to hurt them.
I actually thought of a house rule that I think is more of a rule than just giving handing off something that you have to keep track of to a player. Is how I do inspiration. And normally I'm under too much cognitive load to actually remember to award inspiration. So what I do is each of the players starts with 1 inspiration die, but it's not theirs. They have to give it to another player at some point during the session.
That's cool.
And so if they think someone did something cool, then they'll award a point of inspiration. When you get awarded, that's the one you can roll.
Oh, nice. I like that. That's cool. That's cool.
And if they have inspiration at the end of the session, I did this once, but it didn't really stick, as I had a couple of pieces of lore about the world that may or may not be relevant to the story prepared. So if you don't use your inspiration, you get one of those, but the players weren't really into it because like they didn't know if it was going to end up being relevant. They're like, we'd just rather start the next session with inspiration. I'm like, okay, that's easy.
Oh yeah, no, I don't let inspiration carry over to next session. Doesn't happen. Unless it's like a very super specific
if you don't
interest.
Use it.
well, because the way I have it is the way it's, you know, you have a 10% chance of getting it, so it's like you're gonna get it every session. So I
way you award it way more often, I think.
And
like, each player has 1 die to award, so inspiration will be awarded like 4 times. In a session.
Totally cool to transfer it over. I totally understand that. There was 1 or 2 times I've done it where like we ended in the middle of a combat, and so like it made sense for it to carry over, but in general I don't usually have a carryover.
I try not to end in the middle of a combat. It gets messy.
No, neither do I. It just like it was a situation that had happened. It was like not a normal thing at all that had happened, so like just you know, life. Next question from the internets. Any good resources on helping beginner GMs and how to get more comfortable with running games besides just practicing and running one-shots?
I think this is kind of specific to what kind of game you would like to run,
Mm-hmm.
but I would say do some other activity where you make an absolute fool of yourself and it's normal to do so. It helps you get used to like stepping out of your comfort zone to voice characters if that's your thing,
Mm-hmm.
or expands your imagination to be able to capture what the players want or be able to describe something cool to them. Because those I think are some of the best moments is when like if it's taken out of context, you're like, what? Why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
But in context, inside the game, that's the only thing that actually matters. And if everyone's on board and more comfortable with, doing the role play, the acting, everything like that, I think the game ends up being more fun because you can get more immersion that way.
Yeah, totally. I think it's like filling your creative well, like filling your like the thing that you improvise with, getting inspiration, I think is very key. Because for me, it's like a lot of the times when I'm describing something, I'm picking a scene from a movie, a book I read, like the way I imagined a story that was told to me, or like whatever. I'm like picking something and then like describing that vision in my head, and like that's what helps me the most. So like getting more media to draw on is what works really well for me. So like watching TV, movies, reading.
I agree. I have the same thing. Like I'm watching at least 3 episodes of something almost every day.
Yeah.
Just because I have the time and I enjoy doing it, and it's really generates that inspiration, and I really enjoy like analyzing the storytelling to help me do better storytelling myself, especially on the fly.
I'm like, I watch TV and I'm like, they're just escalating something in every scene. Oh my god!
Like, I should do that. I'm gonna try it next time.
Yeah,
that's exactly how I try to get better.
You see a beautiful scene, pause it, and I'll try to describe it a little bit, like just like a good vista, and just like practice describing stuff.
That's because it's easier when you actually have that idea in mind already. You're describing what actually happened instead of improvising what is actively happening in everyone's imaginations. Like that. I might give that a shot.
Yeah, it's not especially like that Lord of the Rings show, Rings of Power, man. There were so many good like views in that of just like yeah.
I haven't seen it, but once I get some free Amazon Prime account, that's top of the list. That and Fallout.
Ooh, yeah,
and also
that was
the
good
Critical
too.
Role one, obviously. There's so much on there.
So many good. Any good resources? I think like specifically resources, like the Sly Flourish, Lazy GM stuff has been really helpful with like ethos and philosophy of running games, which I think could help a beginner GM, because you don't need as much as you think you do. Like,
it's true.
And learning how much you actually need is very helpful.
It's kind of like how I started to just not prep games. Like, I don't actually need to do that prep unless I have something very specific that calls for it. And it, one, frees up a lot of time in my actual life to do other stuff like, I don't know, dishes and laundry.
Yeah, totally.
But it also, like, practicing it definitely, and I know you said not practice, but practice really gives me a lot of confidence. Like, because I've run so many fully improvised games at this point, I'm very comfortable doing that more.
It's a muscle, you gotta stretch it. Okay, so this question comes from my last guest. What's a time at the ttrpg table as a player or a DM that you were most scared, and how did you handle it?
Most scared player or GM? I think this one comes with a lesson. I ran a campaign for my immediate family at one point. You know, my 2 siblings and my parents were all in it. And there was this pair of orc, you know, nobodies that I assumed they were going to kill, but they befriended instead. And so I made characters out of them. They they worked together. The basically NPCs that became members of the party. And when they brought them to go fight a dragon, one of them got dropped to 0 hit points. And I went on describing how their friend was getting his guts ripped out in gory detail. And it was actually my mom who was like, can we not do that as much? I just feel uncomfortable with it. And at that point, the fear came in with like, how badly did I just mess up? Are we going to have another session after this? And so I immediately reeled it in, ran it back, and re-described what actually happened. Still dropped to 0 hit points. That didn't change. But this, I think, is the thing that taught me the true importance of safety tools and establishing those in session 0 before a campaign starts. Because we hadn't done that. You know, it was family. I figured we didn't need to, but turns out we definitely did.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very important lesson I learned the hard way.
And good for her for like speaking up like that in a very, it sounds like in a very like non-confrontational way. You know, it was very, sound like it was handled very adultly, which doesn't happen often.
No, not every time. Fortunately, that was my biggest horror story. Yeah. Thankfully, I've avoided the ones worthy of Reddit.
Yeah, she advocated for herself. That's great. I love that. Which is why, I totally go over, safety tools and stuff all the time. And I even like to like remind players every few sessions, like, hey guys, these safety tools exist. This is what's with them. You know, like quickly before the session. Super important when players can feel comfortable doing so. Yeah, and I like to use the safety tools myself too. I like to like be proactive and use them so that the player knows what it looks like, because sometimes the player might not even know what it looks like to use a safety tool in the middle of a session. Okay, does anybody in chat have any last questions for Dennis, aka OKSDM?
That's me. I think I saw one a little earlier up from Boss Jellybean. Oh yes, this is Saga specific. Do I have a guide for Saga's setting supplements?
Yeah.
No, I don't, because we haven't even finished the first full supplement thing yet. And I don't know what the best way to go about making them is. I haven't done enough of them.
Yeah.
But there are like, I think almost 24 one-page supplements that I still go back to for inspiration when I'm making another one.
Cool.
Like we've got a Pokemon one. We've got a one where you write poetry as you play. That one is a lot of fun. Like you write poetry about the game, and then at the end of the game recite the poetry you wrote.
Yeah.
So like when your character's not in scene, you have something to do. A couple others, we did a Jujutsu Kaisen one. You can see us play One Piece using sagas over on Just the Humans channel.
Oh man, they're awesome. Oh, Just the Human is so great.
Jess is phenomenal.
If you're watching this, go follow Just the Human right now.
Go do
leave
it
and
right
come
now.
back. Like
Just
leave,
the
go
Human,
follow.
one word.
Please.
JES. YouTube, Twitch, just everything they do is phenomenal.
Yeah.
including the One Piece game that I run. Haha.
Haha.
No bias there. But yeah, so like tons and tons of one pagers. We actually ran a game jam of one pagers as well, where a bunch of people also made ones.
Yeah.
There's some for, let's see, Sam NYGM made a Star Wars one.
Whoa, there's
no. Imagine If
Mhm.
made a Star Wars one.
Okay.
I think Sam made one too, but I don't remember what it was, what she did. Anyway, we got about 24 of them. There's no way I'm gonna remember them all.
That's super cool. All right. Another question I have here is, and this is a D&D specific one. I want to introduce the deck of many things to my players, but I'm worried since they don't know what it is. I don't want them to go in with no idea of the possible consequences, pull the void card, and then be mad at me for it. How should I preface the cards to them?
It's a good question. A very reasonable one too, because the deck of many things can do, as the name suggests, many things.
Lots of stuff.
My suggestion would be to take control of the narrative by still giving the illusion of player agency.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you come to a fork in the road. Down through one door is one thing, and through another door that they don't go through is the same thing. The secret is it feels like the players feel like they have a choice, but the same thing is on the other side of the door. No matter which one they choose, the same thing is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So with deck of many things, you say you draw a card, and you roll some dice behind the screen to feign a random pull, and you actually choose which one they get first. And so like maybe the first one's positive, maybe the second one's positive, and then maybe another one is actually like really bad. So it's that. The other suggestion I have is have it appraised. Maybe an NPC recognizes it and is just afraid of it. Like, what is this? And their reaction is going to tell them a lot.
Yeah, those are two good notes. I like, and Midnight Tavern says you're essentially saying the same thing. Curating the deck, I think, is a great idea. So that the only certain things, make a list of cards you want to use specifically, or maybe the deck is just missing those bad cards and it's still, more random. But like either of those are good, or even just like making like a D6 or a D8 list of ones you would want to have, and then it's still like a little bit random, even though it's ones that you're curating could be good too. It really depends, but I think curating the cards and finding an NPC to give them some info.
Yep, that's my favorite tool for dropping lore. I don't think there's really a better way to do it other than an NPC, or like unless they're actively looking for it. If they're not actively looking for it, I don't know another way to point them in the right direction other than an NPC or a very specific description.
Yeah, right.
Or you can break the fourth wall sometimes, and that's fun. It's like, there are 3 paths before you, but the one going towards the capital looks particularly attractive.
Or like, insight check. Yeah, that one smells like sulfur. That one smells like a swamp.
That one's doused in shadow. We can't see anything. And this one has fairies handing out cookies along both sides.
Yeah, exactly. Get them to make a decision. I haven't used the deck of many things yet. I think in my last campaign they found a card, but they never investigated anything about it or did anything. I just think they just found a card and a pile of treasure.
Yep. I like that. You find one card. No, that doesn't have any power anymore. but you can sense it did at one point
Maybe
after
you
an Arcana check or something.
go to a mage tower and get some information. Maybe a magic shop has a hand of cards, 5 or 6 available for sale, and once you put that one together, and then they're slightly magical now. Or man, there's so many things. Look at us, we're coming up with cool ideas.
Deck of many things, the trading card game.
Exactly. Especially, like players love collecting magic items and stuff and getting sets.
Oh, they do. That and money.
Yeah. I love giving them a bunch of gold and then immediately afterwards giving them something to spend it on.
Yes.
Like, they won the top prize in there was a festival, and one of the characters won the top prize in the archery contest, and it was 7,777 gold, right? Then one of the other players, or one of the other characters, an NPC they were really fond of and like connected to, ran an orphanage, and the orphanage was being blackmailed for 10,000 gold. And so between the recent winnings and all the other gold they had just barely enough to help the orphanage pay the 10 grand. Like, big. And so I got them to spend
That's one way
the
to
gold.
take the money away from them.
Yeah. In a satisfying way,
of,
too, that changed the story.
Yeah. One of the ways that my players ended up using their obscenely large number of gold coins was they invested in a shop. They literally founded a magic shop, found a wizard in town, like an NPC that they met earlier on who wanted to run one. And like, we'll front the cash for it. We'll get you a spot. We'll give you enough money to hire people to spruce it up. Maybe a couple of other, buy some shelves and some things to put on them when you open, and you can go run that, and we'll take a cut of your earnings.
That's awesome.
And so they had a home base after that.
That's so cool. Midnight Taverns is Fantasy Blues Brothers. Yo, that would be a decent campaign.
Probably
like a mini campaign. I could see like 4 to 10 sessions, like trying to save some place that is dear to the characters. Yeah, I love connecting. I do lots of stuff in session 0 to connect the characters together, with like direct relationships between at least one other character, and then that usually creates like secondary relationships. You can, like, if two characters are brother and sister, and then if A and B are brother and sister, and then like A and C are schoolmates, then C and B are probably gonna know each other because of, like, you usually know your siblings, like school friends, maybe not like very
well,
know
them super well,
but
exactly.
you know of them, and so like making those like connections, maybe they went to school together, maybe they worked at the same place, maybe they were in jail together, maybe they both took the same job on the job board one day. There's like so many. I have a whole D100 table about how they could be connected, but it's like,
I love the cellmates one. That's really great. I might use that.
Yeah, and they broke out, so like they get to come up with how they broke out of the thing.
Oh, and they broke out together?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So like that camaraderie, like, can definitely
Never
help.
goes away.
Yeah, and then then they also have connections with other people in the party too. So like it ends up that you have two connections, one with one other character, and it like works well. That, and then I try to get each character to have 3 NPCs that they give me, that I can use. Ooh, even if it's just like a name, and it's like, oh, this is Marge and she's my mom. Cool, that's all I need. Like, and I can use it a little bit, to like connect.
My mom was captured by a dragon? What?
Yeah, or no, your mom sent you your favorite cookies, and you got a care package,
stuff like that.
Yeah. But then
it makes the world feel full.
The next time you notice on the care package on the back of the note is the symbol for the local thieves guild, and they want to have a meeting.
Mom? What?
And they want to have a meeting. And they say, thanks for the cookies. They're pretty tasty. And there's no cookies in your package.
Oh. I was going, your mom's secretly a member of the Thieves Guild. No, she was captured by the Thieves Guild.
Not maybe captured, but like the Thieves Guild knows where you live. And they know
knows
who
where your mom lives.
Yeah. Like, maybe not, like, you could go captured, you could go deeper, but like at the very least, they know like where you live, like your family.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be another, like, just an interesting escalation.
I like making NPCs vaguely threatening. Like, if someone has a really, really big secret they're trying to keep, and I want that secret to be the next plot point, I'll have an NPC walk by them and just whisper, I know. Or a more comedic one, someone walks up to you at the party and says, I apologize in advance, and then walks away.
Go on. Can't just leave that for me. What happens next?
That's it.
That's it.
Anything could happen. The point is that the players are like now on edge. They fully expect something to happen. They just have no idea what.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
There's a lot of little tricks like that to just ratchet up the tension for no reason, and it's very entertaining to me.
I love the okay, so several things happen at once.
Oh yes, I've done that before too. It reminds me of Calamity that Brennan ran. We are going second by second for the next hour.
Yeah. Oh, that was so cool. Yeah, I'm excited for Brennan to run the new campaign 4. I think it's gonna be really interested. I'm really interested in seeing how they do it, because they're all such good, they're good storytellers, and I like seeing people do what they're good at. I
probably won't watch it for several reasons, time being one of them.
Yeah. It's a lot. It's so much.
There's so much content.
Yeah. But I like that they're starting in a new world with new players and stuff. I think it's like, I think it's a good step forward for the brand and like for them as a group, to try new things.
Like, we're doing multiple individual stories now.
Yeah.
And we can tell them simultaneously.
With a variety of people. It's not just the main cast. There's new people coming in.
Right.
So I think it'll be
new
good.
New people, old faces.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions, chat? Last call for questions.
Last call.
So the last question I have is, can you give me a question for the next guest?
I knew this was coming because I had one. I knew this was coming, and I'm still not prepared, though. Here's where my improv chops are coming in use. So I think your next guest, do we know who your next guest is?
You really want to know?
I do.
My next guest is going to be... I have Cassidy Sledge and Will Champion from 20-Sided Tavern coming on.
From 20-Sided... Okay. I've never met them individually, but I know people who have worked with them before.
I got a couple of them to do individual interviews.
Okay.
So they're going to be the next
on. I mean, most of the questions is going to be about 20-Sided Tavern. I guess my question for them is, do you think, are you the only ones doing this sort of content where playing D&D for a crowd with this much interaction? And if you are the only ones, do you foresee other groups doing this kind of content in the years to come? Because they have such a unique format for like what content they create, and like they're like, it takes a lot of production that most of us do not have access to. So I would love to see more stuff like that, more content, like, so like people can go see those shows locally, and it's not just one group of people traveling around.
Totally.
You know?
I do see local live D&D games. I don't know if I've seen local for me, but I've seen online advertised for stuff, but nothing on the scale and type of interaction that 20-Sided Tavern has.
And I would love to see more local shows step up their game to that level, because that'd be so cool. Also, I just kind of want to go to one of those.
Me too.
We don't have a lot of like
well, they're doing a big
Twin Cities, tour. Minnesota, and we don't have a ton of like D&D content around outside our local game stores.
They're doing a tour right now.
No, I heard. I just don't know what the stops are.
Let's see, where are we? Right now, they're in Chicago until the end of September.
Do they come to Minneapolis?
Then they're in Boston, then they're in Philly, then they're in North Carolina, then we're in California, then Indiana, then North Carolina. Nope.
Dang it.
So, but they're going to be in California for like 2-3 months.
Crazy.
Yeah, but Chicago, maybe, you know, if you can get there. Are you in the Twin Cities?
Yes. No, I live in the suburbs outside the Twin Cities. I work in Minneapolis, so.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
there's not a ton of content creators for D&D here, which is, you know, its own thing. So I relish every opportunity I have to like meet online creators in person.
Totally. I'm from Milwaukee originally, but now I'm in California. I haven't met anyone in person. I went to one con and I was like a small creator, so no one knew who I was. And I'm still a small creator. I don't know, man. I don't even know what size creator I am anymore.
No, sorry, dude. 10,000's not small.
Yeah. But like,
sorry to break it to you.
I don't know. It's weird. Social media is so weird.
Yeah, I can't. That's one thing that I always had trouble with, is like actually posting content. I tried it for a while and just took too much out of me, and I said, this isn't worth it. I've already made it. I'm already doing stuff like this, like getting to talk to you and people like you that do these interviews, like, and are interested in the work I'm doing, and I'm interested in what they're doing, and just having those connections is enough for me. I don't care if anybody watches.
Yeah, totally. I feel it 100%. I just want to help people, and like, the more followers is the more people that I can help. But like, I don't try to focus so much on those types of numbers. The numbers that I'm focusing more on recently are like engagement and comments and like getting people to my Discord so that I can help them there, and like one-on-one questions, or like getting people to download the free resources that I've made and stuff like that. And I think that's more of my goal now than views or likes or follows.
Right.
Cool. I don't have any more questions. Dennis, do you have any questions for me?
Oh, that's a whole nother episode. I'm sure we'll get there eventually, but give me some time to prep, and I can have a laundry list of stuff for you.
Nice. Yeah, I've been interviewed a couple times. I wouldn't mind getting interviewed more often. Ooh, I'll
make a show and do one episode just for you, so I can ask you those questions.
Oh, Boop do, thank you for subscribing on YouTube.
Ooh, thanks.
Who should we raid out to?
Let's see.
Ooh, Robert Hartley is live.
Mare was trying to. I was gonna stream at some point today, but it doesn't look she's on yet.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Saturday early, like late afternoon, early evening. Not a lot of. I feel like it's the time that most people are available, but not a lot of channels I follow are online right now.
Yeah, it's weird, and that's what's nice though is like I'll do Robert Hartley because he's got a live game going on right now.
Nice.
But yeah, it's like, oh, he doesn't have a live game going on right now. He is commenting,
he's reviewing one of his.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, which I think is great.
Ooh, I got a couple friends in Starcrawl RPG right now.
Oh yeah, okay. Starcrawl RPG.
Yep. Looks like they're on session 6. Can't tell what they're playing though.
Doesn't matter. We'll raid them.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Cool. So, thank you everybody for stopping by today and hanging out with us. Yeah. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Dennis, for stopping by and hanging out with me. This has been super fun. I love doing stuff like this. Like I said a few minutes ago, I got some really cool guests coming up soon. Like, you're really gonna want to check it out.
Yeah, you are.
I've been kind of cryptic the past week, like, hey guys, following me on Twitch, I got some really cool stuff coming up and I can't really talk about it yet, but you should do it. But yeah, thank you all so much for stopping by and hanging out. Good luck with your next session. We believe in you. We'll see you in the future. Have a good one, everybody.